Hey, it's Tandem Bicycle here. If you're tuning in, I would assume this is one of the first times you've either booted up the game or you're just here scouting out what Sea of Thieves is all about. But either way, this video will be jam-packed with tips and pointers to get you going in the early stages of Sea of Thieves. One of the most important things to get to know early in your Sea of Thieves experience is the UI behind the game. I'm not going to go into terribly great detail about how it all works, but I would definitely recommend to get yourself well acquainted with the UI within the game so that you don't make key blunders as you're out on the sea fighting either skeletons or other players or in your ship-to-ship combat or whatever it might be, because those times are going to be more costly than you missing something early here while trying to experiment. One thing though that I will be showing that some people don't necessarily understand about the UI comes to cannons, because you'll look on the screen and it doesn't say anything here other than to load your cannonballs. But if you take a look at my inventory, I have 4 different types of cannonballs. So one important thing to know is that there is a keybind. I don't know it on controller, but I do know it on keyboard, and it's Q. If you hold Q, it brings you to a radial. Not very many people know this, so I just figured I would clarify this one. That this radial brings up all of the cannonballs that you have in your inventory, and you can select whichever one you want to load into your cannon. So I can do the blunder bomb, or I can do a fire bomb, chain shot, or regular cannonballs. And that's just one of the quick ways to switch between cannonballs. I've seen a lot of people have to go into their inventory, select it, and then come back and either load it here or load it here. But the quickest way is definitely going to be opening up that radial. So that's one that I've seen a lot of people struggle with as it comes to UI. Other than that, the UI here, whether it's the main page, the more, the throwables, or the quest, that's just going to become muscle memory after a certain point. So I would definitely recommend getting used to that earlier rather than later. It's going to help a ton when you're in those niche situations where you really need to do something quickly. But yeah, now that we have the UI out of the way, we can get into the better part of this tutorial, which is going to be the things that we can do, all the content that's out there on the Sea of Thieves. A vast majority of the content in this game is broken down into voyages for the various trading companies that have found their homes in the Sea of Thieves. The 3 main ones being the Gold Hoarders, the Merchants Alliance, and the Order of Souls. Right up front, these are the most important ones to focus on because not only are their quests the easiest for someone just starting, but they are going to be the most rewarding out of the gate. Now, the question you might have lingering in your head is, well, what's the difference? And do you know? That's a great question, and thanks for asking. I'm moving this video right along. Anyways, let's get into what those differences are. Better explain the trading companies and their roles in the Sea of Thieves. I figured I would use my favorite of them to give you an example. The Gold Hoarders can be found on any outpost, just like the other 2 main companies, the Merchant Alliance and the Order of Souls, and are marked with their respective flags. Now we can break down our interactions with the trading companies into 3 parts. The first being receiving quests, which is done by buying quests from the respective company. You just walk up to them, open up this inventory here, and it should have 3 that you can buy at any given time. And after you purchase one, for the respective amount of gold, which scales with the level that you are, so they should start as free for beginning players, down to 2 after you've bought them. And you can hold up to 3 at a time on your person from any of the given trading companies. Next, you will go out and complete the quest by voting on it and your ship table, which we'll go over in just a little bit on this as we get out into the seas, and then returning with the goods and cashing in. You return chests to the Gold Hoarders, you return crates to the Merchant Alliance, who are usually on the docks, and then you return skulls and things of that nature to the Order of Souls over there. Basically, every quest in the game will follow this general pattern. So it's a great idea to get yourself comfortable with this early on, because there will be plenty of this in the future. And now that we have our first quest, it's time to get into everything you can expect to run into on the open seas. There are quite a few things to experience when just wandering around the world. With a little time and effort, you'll be able to definitely see them all. But for the main point of today's video, I just want to go over the random encounters that can find you on the sea. The first and probably the easiest of these 3 random encounters is the Megalodon. And that's the massive shark that you see in the introduction to the game. While this can deal a serious amount of damage to your ship and possibly even kill you with a few shots on your boat, it doesn't pursue you further than its domain where it finds you, making this really easy to run away from. So usually what I do is I just give it a few shots with a sniper off the deck of my ship and just continue sailing full speed away. and that usually gets me out of trouble. The second and the most annoying, I would say, of the three is definitely the ghost ship. This can come in any of the ship sizes. It can be a galleon, it can be a brigantine, it can be a sloop, and it will follow you until either you sink it or it sinks you. Now the third encounter of these random ones that will find you on the sea is the Kraken. And even after 40 hours put in the game, I haven't had this one happen to me. So I'm not probably the best source on this one. I'm sure there's plenty of great videos out there you can look up on how to defeat the Kraken and what to do in that specific situation. But what I know is that it's like phases, like it's a boss fight. It's definitely something to be feared. I'm still afraid of it, mostly I think because I haven't encountered it yet. I've only seen one happen to a ship as I was sailing in the seas. But yeah, those are the three things that will be able to find you as you're just sailing on the open seas. Now, one of the most important things to remember about this game is that you're not going to be perfect at it at the very beginning. It's going to take time, it's going to take practice, and the best way to practice is to get out and just do the things. Go out and do the voyages, grab the chests, kill the skeletons, and one of the most important things to do is fight other ships. Especially in the beginning, you're not going to have very much in terms of value on your ship at any given time. You'll have, a seafarer's chest, you'll have a thing of like silk or whatever, and they're going to be worth a few hundred gold. That's really not the most valuable thing in the world. Maybe at first it seems like that, but it's really not. And it's best to get the practice out of the way in the early stages of the game when things aren't worth as much, when you're really not playing for much in terms of value. It's best to go out and really fight. Learn how to use a sword, learn how to use your blunderbuss, your pistol, your sniper, whatever layout you're really running. It's best to just go out and fight early so you can gain that experience and become better at it, and protecting your stuff of more value later on in the game. But yeah, that concludes the video for today. I will be trying to get out more Sea of Thieves content in the future, most likely centered around some more advanced game mechanics or even just some of the stuff my friends and I do out on the seas. But if you liked the video, make sure to leave a comment about what you want to see from us in the future, as well as a like. It'll really help me to be able to devote a bit more time to this in the future, as well as I am trying to stream over on twitch.tv/tandembicycle roughly like twice a week, Tuesdays or Thursdays. However, I am in school right now, which makes it a little hard for me to get to those every single week. But once again, thanks so much for watching, and good luck out there on the Sea of Thieves.